So one of the keys to successful manifestation, and when I say successful manifestation, I mean effective manifestation. I mean easy, I mean effortless, I mean you getting what you consciously want, you having conscious control over manifestation, and you manifesting consciously in a way that suits you and appeals to you. So one of these keys is to get very clear on and decide on what ways you want to manifest. And for me, I am interested in simplifying. So I'm looking for what way I want to manifest. And I don't mean techniques necessarily, although techniques do play a part. I mean dictating the way that manifestation happens for you as a fundamental rolling out of manifestation. And that is about our assumptions on our assumptions of manifestation. So for example, do you want to manifest by having one single thought about something and that manifesting in your 3D instantly? And I want you to forget what you've been taught, or let's not forget, but I want you to put aside for now what you've been taught about manifestation in terms of how it comes about. Just for now, let's suspend your disbelief or put some distance between you and the belief or the teachings you've had that there is a lag in 3D, so it takes a little while for the 3D to catch up, or you have to really saturate your mind to make something happen, or you're not in control of the how, you're only in control of the what, etc., etc. I think they're all valid points, and there's certainly stuff that you can believe in and adopt as your own beliefs. I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying for the purpose of this point and message and experiment, just pop all that aside for now, knowing that you can pick that up at any point. Think of it like a suitcase, right? You've walked into your house, you've plopped the suitcase down, and you've gone and collapsed on the couch for a bit, knowing that when you're ready to leave the house, you can pick up the suitcase once again. So choosing the way that you want things to unfold for you in conscious manifestation gives you a lot of power. And I want you to remember that in manifestation, particularly law of assumption, we believe we are God and we are God. Therefore, our powers are omnipresent, omnipotent, and unending, limitless. So the possibility, should you choose it, to have one single thought and something manifests instantly into your 3D is not only possible, it will happen if you choose. That's the way you want things to occur. And you don't have a lot of resistance if you choose to believe in resistance, right? Again, assumptions on assumptions. So what I've noticed for myself is I don't want to choose to manifest after one single thought instantly. I notice that would be stressful for me because the amount of thoughts that I tend to have is a lot, and my mind is quite creative and imaginative and broad. So I might be thinking of a fish, and then the next minute that pops into my reality, and then I'm thinking of a whale and that pops into my reality, and then I'm thinking of the void space, right? And then that pops. That's a lot for me to jump from every microsecond, right? And maybe I could work on the assumption that it's not a lot and it's enjoyable. But right now where I'm at, I'm believing it's a lot. And so what I find myself doing is really opening up to the idea of how I want my conscious manifesting to come about. And often my decision-making processes can come about two ways. It can be really passion and desire driven. So things like, I want this, so therefore I'm deciding this. Or it can be based in alignment. this feels really natural for me. I'm going to follow this through. Alternatively, if I don't have clarity, I do like to approach things with curiosity and use process of elimination. So you can see I'm already starting this process of elimination by being quite clear that I don't want every single thought to consciously manifest instantly. So that's not what I want. I also notice that I don't want to have upsetting and traumatic and dramatic circumstances for me to have to change. I've also noticed I don't want to have to be uncomfortable to get growth. And I've really noticed, particularly in the last couple of years, the areas that I get most growth in is when I'm in alignment, when things are natural and flowing for me. If something is uncomfortable or anxiety inducing for me, more often than not, that's not the right pathway for me. And it's not a case of the universe is testing me to see if I really want something. It's not a case of growth comes from being outside of our comfort zone or whatever, that kind of pop psychology shit that goes around. I'm not saying, also, to be clear, I'm not saying if you have those beliefs, they are wrong. I'm not saying that. I can see how that really works for some people. I really can. And an older version of me might have been really effective. But I'm also fortunate to have seen, for me, positive growth has really flourished for me when I'm in alignment. And I learn more and I grow more, I expand more. And it doesn't mean that I'm not willing to face discomfort or challenges. But if I'm dictating my reality, why would I continuously choose that or choose something that's like so uncomfortable that it impedes me? Why would I? It just doesn't make sense to me anymore. So that's another point of elimination. And so that's what I'm finding myself doing at the moment, is this gentle process of elimination. And because I am who I am, meaning my current beliefs, I don't even necessarily have to play it out or live it out or test it. The option's there, and I can if I want to, and sometimes I do. I get really curious. Curiosity really drives me sometimes. To me, it's just a matter of thinking about it, a thought experiment. Okay, is this something in this moment that I want to be my process for manifestation or my experience of manifestation? And I know myself so well at the moment that more often than not, it's a clear yes or no, which is really exhilarating in some ways. I don't know if you've heard me mention before how much of a clarity junkie I am. But clarity is such a buzz for me, such a thrill. And it's up there with my driving values of, and you have probably heard me say this if you've watched my other videos, peace. Peace is my main driver. Peace and clarity, I just love them. So why wouldn't I choose something that really resonates with me? And what I notice also, and I am believing this will be true for others as well, is that it's not necessarily the most obvious thing, right? So something obvious for me might be that my most powerful way of manifesting will be through dance. And because I do a lot of dance, right? I'm talking 20 hours a week, pretty much every week. That would be really an obvious avenue for me. Doing dance gets me into a mindset of being incredibly receptive. All I need to do is have a conscious intention when I'm dancing, and within 24 hours, my manifestation will come about in the 3D, right? That is a very viable option for me. Incredibly viable. And it's an obvious one. But what I'm noticing is, and a lot of this comes from an internal feeling at the moment rather than a clarity thought process, is that might not actually be what I want right now. And you know what the best thing is? So that you don't stress yourself out when deciding what your process is going to be, you need to realize that because you are God, you can change this at any moment. I mean, you can change this 6 times a day if you want to, 6 times an hour if you want to. So if you decide on something and then you're like, oh no, that's not it, change it. I do think it's worth approaching with curiosity and sticking with it for a little bit to see what happens, because we're going to do that thing that humans tend to do, try something. It's not immediately showing up in the 3D in the way that we exactly want it to, and therefore our lovely little confirmation bias will be like, this isn't working. See, this isn't working. I have to do it the hard way. And there is no hard way, right, when it comes to manifestation. But we are holding assumptions, which is, again, a personal process, a personal belief system. We are holding assumptions that certain ways are hard. So for me, I think that I'm believing that going through a traumatic event for me to rewire my brain into getting what I want is hard. But my mind might also be believing, yeah, that's the most effective way. And that's kind of going to be the only way for me to really power up, right? And so if I'm holding that and I opt for something as simple as every time I go to sleep, my manifestations come true, and my mind wants to dismiss that as too simple, or the only way is going to be the traumatic way, it's going to look for that confirmation bias of like, see, it's not working. See, I had a sleep and nothing has changed. And it will scour my memories for like, yeah, see that time? Remember when you had a breakdown and like everything changed for the better? And that's the only way that things are really going to change dramatically in your life. And I'm not saying to disregard the positive that has come out of these experiences or dismiss the experience. I'm saying that was then, this is now. And you are getting a chance to reinvent the way that you manifest. And the best thing about this opportunity to reinvent the way you manifest is that it is constant. It's all the time you get this opportunity, which is really exciting. So have a little think about what you feel most drawn to and what resonates the most. Is it being in the state of the wish fulfilled and therefore you get your manifestation instantly? Is it that you like to rewire your mind over 21 days and then life unfolds day by day closer to your manifestation? Is it that you're a quantum jumper like I am and just love going to sleep, waking up in a completely different identity and different life? And I've done that and I love that. It's very, very effective actually. And I'll just point out, mostly to myself and to you, there was not one single bit of trauma in that. There was not even stress. There was nothing. And it wasn't like I woke up the next day and feel discombobulated, like what is this? Nothing like that. I woke up and I will tell this complete story in a video at some point because it's worth talking about. But I woke up and it was just like, it's not even like my thinking was different. I mean, it has to be for things to change. But I just woke up and was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing now. And then things were so in alignment and catapulting at a ridiculously fast level. Sometimes it felt overwhelming. I must admit there'd be a few days where I'd go, whoa, I need to catch my breath, but nothing I couldn't handle. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is really flying for me. It just felt like it was flying. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. I'm going to be transparent here and say I haven't actually decided right in this moment what my process will be. And I suspect it might even be a few things. Like I really love the quantum jumping aspect, so I'd be loath to kind of dismiss that. But I also feel like I'm just getting an intuitive nudge that there is other stuff I want to build into that and incorporate into that. And so the opportunity here is I invite you to come along with me as we work out our process, or as me and one of my really close manifesting friends call it, the blueprint, right? We're really, really determined at the moment to really solidify our blueprint, our individual manifesting blueprint, just because it fascinates us and we're just so keen to have a blueprint. You don't need to have a blueprint because you are manifesting all the time. We just like to formalize it and have it as something concrete. So yeah, let's work together and create our blueprints. And I'd love you dearly to share in the comments what you think your blueprint might be, what you want it to be, and how it's working for you. So thank you for joining me here in the Soft Love Witch Coven today. And I'm wishing you lots and lots of soft love.